Now, I know you might be asking, Navdeep, how exactly Samsung is able to achieve this kind of revenue, sales, market share, and operating profits. Now, to understand that, we have to understand two most important topics: economy of scale and economy of scope. Let's quickly understand economy of scale. Now, let's say instead of manufacturing 1 million or 2 million devices, you end up manufacturing 10, 20, or even 50 million devices. Now, if you manufacture more and more of one single product, the marginal cost of that specific product will go down. And that's the concept of economy of scale. So every single time you produce a new SKU, the marginal cost of producing that specific product will go down because you are using the same factory, the same machines, and the same labor. You just have to put more raw material so that you can produce more and more product at the cheaper cost. So every time you produce a new device, the cost of that device will be cheaper because of economy of scale. Because now you have same labor, same machine, same raw material, you just have to produce in more and more quantity so that you can generate more profits. Now let's look at the economy of scope. So whenever you produce all the devices into the same segment, you can pool in the resources. Let's say the raw material vendor for all these components will be the same. A vendor which is providing the silicon and all other raw materials to Samsung. So obviously, if they produce more variety of different products or components, they have the same resources or the same pool of vendors where they can take these raw material in larger quantity and they can have much more bargaining power with those vendors. And this is the perfect example of economy of scope. Whenever you produce all the different types of product within the same domain or within the same raw material, you can always decrease down the cost. So that's how Samsung is able to decrease down the per unit cost of their product, because they are producing more and more product, which is also known as economy of scale, and they are producing a wide range of related products, also known as economy of scope. Now, all these products are related to each other because all these products have silicon and they have the same vendor for silicon and so many other different things. Now, let's look at the most important reason why economy of scale and economy of scope exist at the first place. To understand economy of scale and economy of scope, you first have to understand the types of cost which are there in a business. So whenever you start a business, you have two different types of cost. You have fixed cost and you have variable cost. So the cost which is there in the blue line, this is your fixed cost. And the cost which is there in the red line, this is your variable cost. Now, let's say you're starting a manufacturing business. Now, even if you're not producing any sort of product or quantity from that specific plant, you still have to pay for machine, you still have to pay for the land, you still have to pay to the labor. That means you will always have fixed cost, no matter you produce any sort of product or not. The time you start producing product into that specific industry, your fixed cost will remain same. So you will have same machine, same labor, and same land. But the time you produce more and more quantity, your total cost will go this way. So this blue color line is your total cost. So if total cost is made up of your fixed cost and variable cost, and if you are producing more and more quantity, then your total cost will go down because you have an element of fixed cost. So you are just incurring the variable cost. Let's say you are incurring a fixed cost of $100 and you have a variable cost of $5 per product you produce in that specific industry. Now, if you produce two products, then your total cost is $110, which makes your per unit cost as $55. But on the flip side, if you produce four products, then at this time, your total cost will be $120. But your per unit product cost is $30. That means if you produce more and more product, your total cost will go down. Now, if your total cost will go down as soon as you start producing more and more quantity because of fixed cost element, in that situation, you can always achieve long run average cost. So your long run average cost will be down because your total cost is going down. Now, because your total cost is going down every single time you produce more and more quantity, your long run average cost will go down until you do not have constraint of production. Let's say you started your production by producing 10 products and now you're producing 1000 product. Obviously, after producing 1000 product, now you need more machine and more labor. At that specific point, you will hit plateau. So you started off with a higher cost or higher price. As soon as you start producing more and more quantity of product, your prices or your cost will go down up to a level when you have to deploy more machines, you have to establish or set up a new industry or a new manufacturing plant, and then it will again go up. That means you can always produce all these products at a lower price if you can achieve economy of scale and economy of scope.